Hello everyone, I'm going live, finally, here on the Creative Blog and Article Writing Show, which really encompasses all sorts of stuff to do with writing. Here I am, sat in Paris, and sorry for if you've been waiting for hours. I was trying to get a load of stuff together and was looking for something in particular and was having problems finding it. I'll show you what I was looking for actually. I was looking for this thing, which is a piece of writing from this book, which I may have shared before. I'm going to try and share this sensibly with you. I wanted to share something from this book. Hang on. I may have shared it before, but I thought it'd be nice to feature a book, or at least a very short extract from a book each week. And this is a book called Letters to a Young Poet. It's very interesting because it was written by a poet to a new poet or a wannabe poet. And the wannabe poet who got the letters written to him never really became famous. But the guy who was writing the letters, called Rilke, something like that, he was famous and he stayed famous. And strangely enough, one of the reasons he is most famous is for these letters to a young poet, where he kind of took this guy under his wing. And I'm just going to read you a very short extract from one of those. Hello, Vespina. How are you today? You okay? Hope you're fine. I was a little bit late. Sorry if you're waiting for hours and ages and eternities. Hello, everybody. Why don't you say hello? I talk about words on this show. Words, words, words. Sentences, sentences, sentences. Paragraphs sometimes. And any way you would like to combine them. You could combine them into memes. I'm going to talk about a new idea that I've got for me and maybe for you of getting your words out there far more often and far more powerfully. I'm going to show you some examples of how I do it and how I'm going to try and do it even more. And maybe this is something that you could do to get your words out there more often, your own original words. Anyway, so hello, Karen. Hello, Karen. Anybody else want to say hello? Please do. Karen in Canada, Karen in Chile, Canada, Vespina in boiling Greece, probably. Isn't it really hot there all the time? So I'm going to share this, a reading from this on top of one of my photographs, of course. And so he wrote over several months to this young poet. And what it ended up being was this wonderful set of advices to this guy, which are really valuable to anybody who wants to write. It's about not worrying about what others think, getting your stuff out there, and really good. I'm fuzzy again, says Vespina. I wonder what's going on. I'm using the cable and I'm wondering what on earth is going on. I'm gonna have to actually watch my own videos and see how fuzzy I am. Linda, Ryan Brash, hello. I don't know if I know you. Linda, people are telling me I'm fuzzy and I don't know if I am or not. So I'm sorry if I'm fuzzy. I don't know why. I'll have to get that sorted out. So I'm going to try and share something from it, through one of my photographs. This is the way I'm doing it, I'm afraid. I can't make it any bigger than this. Yes, I can. There we go. It's in French. I've just realised it's in French. So this is going to be kind of interesting, isn't it? So the bit I'm going to try and share is where I put the mouse here. Si votre quotidien, I'll translate it into English, obviously. Oh, I run the Heartfelt Presence. Linda, you run the Heartfelt Presence site. That's amazing. Nobody else will know either on the replay or this what that is, but I was wondering if I was going to hear from you guys. I don't know if I should see what it is or not, but anyway, I do a whole load of shows, Linda. I do a photography show, a writing show, a show which is just for people of my group called Today's the Day, where we celebrate the little or the big events on a day-to-day basis. and I do something on Sunday evenings, which is a kind of, I don't know if you've heard of satsang. It's where someone sits there and talks about their thing and people ask questions. Well, I do it on creativity. So that's kind of my thing. So very nice to have you here, Linda. So this is a writing show. Anything to do with writing. It could be poetry, mine and yours. I'll show you yours if you show me mine. That's kind of the deal. It could be poetry, it could be short stories, could be memes, could be articles, anything you like. So my aim also is to inspire you to write, to love language. I've also got a load of crazy English as well, which I'll be sharing over the weeks and months. Linda is saying, she's saying that there's a site called heartfeltpresence.org, which is a place where you can actually go for coaching or gentle coaching around any topic you like, I believe. I'm just getting to know it. I don't really know it yet, but I know what the concept is. You can go there. There's free coaching, and you can be listened to and offered. I won't say advice because that's not really what the sort of coaching we do is. It's more of a deep listening and asking questions. I mean, I don't know actually because I haven't actually been to one of these things, but if it's what I understand it to be, it's that. It's a very gentle, positive listening place. So that, that could be interesting to some people. Who knows? I need to know more about it, to be honest, before I tell you about something which I don't know. On Sundays, well, it's my time. My Sunday show is in the evening for me, which is Paris time. Normally it's at 9 o'clock in the evening, Paris time. I'm going to get around to reading this thing, okay, from this really interesting book. And I'm going to read it in French first, just one paragraph, one line, and then I'll translate. So it says, si votre quotidien vous paraît pauvre, ne l'accusez pas, accusez-vous vous-même de n'être pas assez poète pour en appeler à vous les richesses. Car pour les créateurs, il n'y a pas de pauvreté. Il n'est pas d'endroit pauvre, indifférent. And so it goes on. So this is great. We seem to think that we have the sort of monopoly on cool quotes. We know it all. We are the sort of the ultimate level of human consciousness or whatever, the culmination of, well, no, we're not. All you have to do is go back a few decades, a few hundred years, or even a few thousand years, and they were coming up with stuff which is just as wise, if not wiser, than a lot of the stuff you hear today. So here's a good example from, not 100 years ago, maybe it's 100 years ago. And he's saying, he's giving advice to a young poet. He's saying, if your daily existence seems poor, in the sense of not very enriching, don't blame your environment, blame yourself to not be enough of a poet to be able to call the riches that are there to you. Because for the creator or the creative person, there isn't any poorness. I'm sure there's a better English word. Pauvreté is poorness. Poverty. There isn't any poverty. There isn't any poor place or any indifferent place. So I won't, that's basically the thing I wanted to tell you. And all of these letters are packed full of that stuff, and it's really good, these little gems. And I truly believe that. My example would be when I go to Paris, to take photographs and to absorb whatever Lady Eiffel, my muse, offers me. I don't know about you guys. Where do you find your inspiration? Do you find that places seem poor to you, or that some places seem richer than others? Or could you feel that anywhere could be a rich place to inspire you and to give you ideas? Or if not, I go walking in the woods. When I get ideas, which I do, they're not ideas about woods, or trees. They're ideas about other stuff. But woods, for some reason, tend to be a really rich place for me. To be honest, a lot of places are. Traveling on the train, anywhere, to be honest. But things like woods, walking in nature, that seems to be a strong sort of place for me, which sends me stuff. Okay. Educational. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that single word means um, on its own. And I see your comments a little bit later. Um, well said. Okay, so well said. I'm pleased it was well said, even though I didn't really know what I was talking about. So that is my book of the day. If you want to check it out, or even maybe look for an excerpt on the internet, it's Letters to a Young Poet from this more experienced poet. Writing great poetry, and he still died at the age of 30 something. It's amazing, isn't it? Okay, right, let me move on to other stuff. By the way, what have you written, or what words have you played with this week? I would love to know. I know, Vespina, you have, hang on, that was from before. Okay. I know, Vespina, you have written something this week. You've written another article. Hang on, that's something else. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So what I'm going to do tonight is if you want to offer me any words which I will share, then you can. I can go to your website, or if you post them in the chat, I can read them. If you have any questions about writing of any sort, I could give you a gentle sort of feedback on your writing, or I could just read it and appreciate it. Or I could comment on whatever it is that you have found interesting recently. Also, or instead of, if you don't give me anything, I will give you some of my stuff. My idea for tonight is to inspire you and to inspire me at the same time to get more of your own words out there. And one of the best ways I found of doing that is through creating memes. And especially if you're in the sort of coaching space or the helping space, we need to find ways in which to sort of get our message out there without it seeming salesy, without it seeming cliched, and that's it. So I found one of the best ways of doing that is through memes. Now, I hate memes when they're other people's. I'm not a fan of getting a million cliched quotes or feel-good mantras in my Facebook feed, which are literally, typically there's nothing to go with them. It's just they're just copied and pasted or shared. And what are we supposed to do with them? I don't feel any connection to the person who sent them to me. I think, in fact, I feel negative. I think, oh my God, have they not got anything better to do? This is my cynical side coming out. But I'm into creativity. I want to see original stuff from people. So that's me, and I kind of accept that I've got a low tolerance threshold for feel-good quotes, feel-good mantras, and quotes I've seen 100 times before, or 1,000. But I love people's original stuff. And memes are great. I'll tell you again why I love memes. Because in the smallest space possible, you've got to get as powerful a message out as you can. And that's a wonderful creative exercise. The fewest words, the strongest message. And my definition of a strong message in a meme, or in some sort of, a bunch of words over a picture, which should be your picture, guys, when you're in my circle, I want to see your picture with your words on top. It should have several components. It might rhyme. There might be some wordplay in there. For instance, je demande, a kind of puns. There could be a pun or some wordplay, could rhyme, could have some humor in there, could have some irony in there, and could make a very strong point. So the ideal would be combining several of those in one meme. And of course, it should be original. There should be something in there which is clearly original, so that we know. That kind of comes with, that's difficult to say, Well, what word should I, there's no point asking, so what word should I use to make it clearly original? Because that wouldn't work, would it? So it's about your voice. It's about getting your voice out there. And to be honest, how do you get your voice out there? How do you even know what your voice is? How do you feel confident enough to put your original stuff out there when you don't even sometimes feel valid or feel that you're a real writer? Well, for me, it's very simple. You just put your stuff out there again and again and again, and you don't give a damn about anything. You don't even give a damn what happens to it once it's out there. It's flown, it's gone, bye bye. Thanks for coming, appreciate it, see you around. Then what do? You write another one. It's as simple as that, it really is. And that's how you produce stuff. And that's how you get returns. Because you get returns because you're always putting stuff out there. You start getting returns on your stuff. When I say returns, that's French. Reactions, you get feedback. And you develop your voice. The only way you can develop your voice is through using your voice. When I say voice, in this case, it's writing stuff. I'm just going to have a good comment. Hello. I'm more into blogging. This week's even had several photos. Karen, great. Yeah, blogging. Well, you know, in the title of this, it's the Creative Blog and Article Writing show. So I will try and find it. Yeah, so I'm just on my little speech here about writing memes or just getting your stuff out there, just writing, just do it. It's like confidence. How do you develop confidence? Is it by reading books on confidence? Is it by discussing confidence with a coach? Is it by building yourself up with confidence, strengthening mantras? No, actually, no, it's not. It's about doing the thing you want to be more confident at, and then you get more confident at it. And you might have heard people say that before, you might not, but it doesn't matter because you're here and now, and I'm telling you that just in case you might want to, you know, think about it. It worked for me, and I don't think it just happens to work for me or for some people that I know. I think it's the only way. The only way to feel confident about your writing and to feel that you're a real writer is to write and get it out there every day. I'm sorry, oops, I slipped that in. That was a Freudian slip. And get it out there as often as you can. The only way to develop your writing is to write very frequently and get it out there. You develop your confidence, you develop your skills. That's it. That's my tip. You can go away and never listen to me again. You've got it. I have a question. How do you choose particular words? I love it. Do you change them for more pompous words, or do you use the first word that comes to your mind? I love this. I love questions. This is what I want on this show. People asking me questions about words and writing, not just me blah, blah, blah. I have a question. I'm a bit shaken now because someone's actually asked me a question about words. So after many, many weeks, I can now see if I can actually answer a question about words. How do you choose particular words? Choosing them, almost sounds like you think that we've got a choice. I would say it's more about modifying them. I think the words come and who knows where from. Then you decide if you're going to keep them or if you're going to change them a bit. It's a bit like ideas. Where do ideas come from? There isn't an idea tree that you can go to and get one from. It's like that knocking at the window, knocking at the door. The opportunity, the idea door. If you're knocking at the idea door, you have no idea when it's going to open. But when it does, at least you're there and you'll get the idea. But if you're not knocking at the idea door or standing outside the idea window, just in case it opens, if you're not there, you definitely won't get it. So it's about putting yourself in the right frame of mind. The ideas will come, the words will come. And then, once they've come, then you play with them. So for me, I don't think it is choosing them. They come. And then you play with them. Let me give you an example. I mean, it's not an example, it's just to show you. So this is a series of memes that I've got, which is an ongoing thing. Yeah. So I've got various series of memes, and this one, I'm sorry it's small. This series is on top of my photographs. It's not linked to creativity. I've got a series of creativity memes. This isn't it. I've got a series of things which I call apparently. It's apparently ... and then I write something. This is pure memes. It really is. It's my image and whatever is inspired by them. Can you see that? Okay. There we go. So when the words come, I'll try and get one of them big for you. There's too many words, too many examples that I could look at, and I have no idea what would be the best. So I'm just going to look at a random one and see what comes to my mind best for now. So for example, I looked at the picture and I could see two people's legs walking. That made me think of steps. That made me think of taking the first step. This is exactly, there you go. So it's random out of hundreds, and it's opposite to what we're talking about. Take a step and your body will say, oh, we seem to be moving forward. I'd better start paying attention to this, because if I don't think about what happens after this first step, I might fall over. Maybe it's going to be the next step that I need to do. So, you know, you take the first step. That's the most difficult. Starting is the most difficult. Writing the first word, write any crap. It doesn't matter. Write something. Then your brain immediately says, oh, we're writing. Okay, let's go. And it starts giving you words. So this is what came to me. As soon as you take the first step, you'll be accompanied and followed. Until you do, well, there's no one to accompany or follow. That came to me. And by my criteria, which I just mentioned, which I try to put into memes, a rhyme, irony, humour, wordplay or puns, a cool message, originality. This is what I try to, this is my sort of, it's at the back of my mind whenever I'm writing. Having said that, when you do write and you've got your own voice, it kind of comes automatically. And I'm not saying where I am on the line from haven't a clue to amazing. I have no idea, and it's completely personal. What I do know is that words come easily to me, and I don't know where from. That's fine. So I don't have to look for them because I know they come. And then I play. Once I've been given my thing from the powers that be, then I can play. So, for example, I went to Paris. I was offered this shot. You can see it's spontaneous. I was walking through a garden. It's not like I planned it. I was walking through a garden. I saw two people walking. The shot I got is repetition. It's a nice way of, you know, photo feature is to have repetition. So there's two legs, and that made me think, okay, here's one. I could have done a meme. I could have done something on one person going forward and another one following, like another one being accompanied, or you are accompanied. You didn't expect to be. Maybe I did actually. In fact, I did. There you go. But the point is, until you start, there's no one to accompany. As soon as you're moving, people will be interested in what you're doing and they'll want to be part of it. It always works. It's like lead that spinner. When you do your words, you get loads of contributions because you do something. I'm hammering this point and it gets so boring, but I think it's worth saying because people forget. You've just got to do something and things will happen. That's it. So I'm not sure if there's anything particularly clever in here. Take the first step, you'll be accompanied and followed. Until you do, well, there's no one to accompany or follow. There's nothing particularly clever or funny or ironic in there, but there is a pleasant kind of twist in that until you start moving, you can't be accompanied because there's no one to accompany. You'd be standing still. So that's kind of pleasant. Maybe I'll just choose one more to see if anything. Let me go to a really, really recent one, like from last week or something. Okay, all right, here's one. This was all of my memes, except the apparentlys, are inspired by my Paris photography. inspired by. But I might have words which have got nothing to do with the image. Sometimes they're completely to do with the image, but they're still supposed to stand alone, as it were. It's not just, here's a meme about the image. This one says, I have caught myself Googling, for example, words that rhyme with black. And there is actually a website for rhyming. Well, let me let you into a secret, Despina. One of my best friends is, I don't know, rhymezone.com or something like that. You know, when I write poetry, I'm someone who, in my head, I feel that poetry kind of rhymes. That's kind of what makes poetry poetry, and it's nice when it does. So I know that a lot of modern poetry doesn't, and I know that some modern poetry buffs almost feel a bit snooty. They look down on writing poetry. You know, it's like, it's so passé. It's so 20th century. I don't feel that way, because I feel kind of the opposite way. I know that if every other line rhymes perfectly, it could be kind of sort of chocolate box schoolboyish. I know, I get that. Having said that, what is poetry if it's not playing with words? And one of the most beautiful, wonderful ways of playing with words is playing with similar sounds. So I'm not that big a fan of unrhyming poetry. And if I were being a bit mean, I would say that some poems that don't rhyme really look to me like prose that has been chopped at the end of a line. I mean, at the end of a poetry line, not the end of a sentence. Chopped kind of randomly to fit the right number of syllables, and so on, right the way down the poem. And I'm thinking, if you didn't have the lines and you just read it, it would be actually boring prose. Anyway, I'll stop there. I think some of you have heard me say that before. So I'm a big fan of RhymeZone, for example, and anything, just type into Google, rhymes for cat, you know. And that's one of my go-to friends. I don't think it's cheating, because poetry, it's about working a bit as well, isn't it? It's not just whatever comes to your mind. We've got the resources there, use them. So this one, by the way, happened to say, so I've got people saying hello. Do French words come easily too? How easy is it for you to write in French? I tried once poetry in French. I've written about 2 poems in French and about 500 in English. So you can see where I've decided to focus. Hi, Dorothy. Nice to have you here. I think that's the website that I spotted, RhymeZone. Yeah, to be honest, it doesn't matter. You know, anything really. There's a ton of them. Just Google rhymes for something. Pick the first one. They're all the same. Well done to your friend. Yeah. So here, for example, it's a picture of Amy Winehouse, sadly departed, on English postage stamps in the middle of Montmartre. That's already interesting. I've added to the shot, the leaves were mine, as it were. I mean, you know, I put them in the photo. So it's not just a picture of someone else's art. You know that I always tell you not just to take a straight on picture of somebody else's art. What are you, sort of, you making an art catalogue of graffiti in Paris? There's no point if you're a creative person. So I've got my angle, I've got my treatment of the photo, I've got my framing leaves, and now I've decided to see what this inspires me in terms of words. And this is what happened. We're all postage stamps stuck to the envelope of life. When we reach our destination, we'll be collected. Another part of the art in this, the fun of this, is sometimes trying to make the words go around the image. That's another little, you know, not particularly obvious, but it's there. You know, it's there. I couldn't quite manage to not get her face with that there. You know, you wouldn't believe how it's not that easy to get the lines the right length. You know, you have to swap. That's another reason for playing with words. Sometimes it's purely, I change a word because I didn't want the word to cover her lips, for example. You know, what's that got to do with creative writing? Well, it's another element. Why not? Why not? That's what I've decided. I wanted the words to curve around her face. So that was part of my creative process. And some of the words were influenced by that, which has got, on the face of it, it's got nothing to do with words, but I'm producing a whole. I don't mean a whole, I mean a whole. I'm producing an entire thing which I want to be pleasing. The image, the words, and how the words interact with the image. After that, it's up to you whether you don't give a damn. At the beginning of these memes, I just plastered my words all over the image, covering faces, everything. And now I take more care. I want them to be more integrated. So we're all postage stamps stuck to the envelope of life. There's a kind of rhythm here. We're all postage stamps stuck to the envelope of life. When we reach our destination, we'll be collected. So what am I trying to say here? Well, obviously, I'm relating it to the image. Then I'm getting deep and meaningful. I'm looking for a metaphor. And I thought, well, are we in some way like postage stamps? By the way, she is sadly departed, but the art that we're looking at here is also in the process of sadly departing. Some of the stamps have been ripped off or have fallen off. They're in a pretty grim state. It's starting to disintegrate itself, which is a beautiful metaphor for life and for Amy. You know, nothing stays the same. Everything is impermanent and ephemeral. So that's also, it's like a visual metaphor as well. So I wanted to go with that. If we are postage stamps, well, how could I carry that further? How could I, why are we like postage stamps? What are you talking about? Well, stuck to the envelope of life. Okay. So if life is like a river and we are a boat, let's say, we can try to change direction of the boat, but we're still being carried down the river or the sea or whatever you want to think of. So I thought that's kind of like a stamp on an envelope. You know, the envelope is carrying it. It's got its own little personality. It's got its value. You know, it's got its currency or whatever. These are British ones, but it's still on an envelope, and the address of the envelope is carrying the stamp to wherever it's going to end up. And the stamp hasn't really got much say in that. So I thought that was a reasonable metaphor for life. And then I wanted to do something a little bit, you know, more sophisticated. So I thought, okay, so what happens at the end? What happens when the envelope arrives? What happens to the envelope? What happens to the stamp? So if the end of the envelope, if that's life, then at the end of the envelope, you kind of rip the envelope open, don't you, and then throw it in the bin. That's kind of like the end of life, let's say. What happens to the stamp? Well, it may be that the stamp is collected by a collector of stamps, maybe cut out, maybe when I was a kid, you put them in water, they came off the backing little square of paper from the envelope. And, you know, some people, they would actually cut it so that they chopped some of the perforations off. Oh my God, how crazy can you be? These little details that drove me nuts. Because my dad was a philatelist as well, so and sometimes the stamps are collected, so that's fine. You know, stamps are collected; it's a thing, philately, stamp collectors. But what about life? Well, it's kind of nice to think that when we reach our destination, which is the end of the road for us as human beings, we're collected, and there's a kind of hint towards you know, a greater power taking us away and putting them in the big collection of souls in the sky. So without labouring it anymore, that's what I was trying to do there. This with Amy is really deep. Thank you. You're amazing. Sad. I wasn't going to read anyway. Well, you know, it's what comes to me and what comes through me. I find it amazing as well, isn't it? Isn't life amazing? I think that I have, no, was I going to show you one more? Well, this was me trying to make light of the 2020 thing. And this is what I came up with a couple of days ago. You know, there's no this series is just memes. It's whatever comes out. I've got my criteria, which I've already mentioned, and whatever comes out, comes out. 2020 vision. COVID-19 to humble, Trump to suffer shame, Chauvin to shake our very souls. I don't know how to pronounce Kamala to up our game. What's your takeaway? What fake lies with that? Don's got you truly covered. I'm very rarely political, and I don't think I'm being political here. I think it's more about human beings, human folly, human hubris, human stupidity, and in some cases, genuine human desire to see ourselves as more than just selfish little, rude word, who is only thinking of us, our immediate circle, or our slightly extended circle. Some people seem to be moving towards this sort of bigger view. An awful lot of people don't. So this is what I've tried to do, get out there. It's like a therapy. It's like a catharsis as well. This is one of the wonderful reasons for writing. You get the crap out of your head and out of your heart and out of your throat, and you can move on. So I have always found words to be incredibly powerful for that. I was saying on another show, I think it was maybe Sunday, that I can tell what my mental state was, or emotional state, I should say, in any given year by how many poems I produced. And I look at some years and it's like 1 or 3, and I was thinking, well, either I was utterly inspired, I could have been unhappy and uninspired to write, or I could have actually been vaguely happy and uninspired to write, because I'm not really inspired to write that the sun is shining, whoopee-doo, isn't it a nice day? That doesn't really do it for me. I prefer sad songs to happy ones, and or at least ones that grab you by the throat. And then there's other years where I wrote 37, 53, and I'm thinking, that was a year. That was a hell of a year. So, but I got through it. And not only did I get through it, like the most desperately miserable times, I produced a hell of a lot of stuff that I'm happy with. And that's, for me, what being creative is about. It's what producing as often as you can. It's turning anything really into something that you can get your feelings out there and potentially share with someone else. That's what it is for me. That's what any form of art is. It's about communicating and maybe feeling others feel better, helping others feel better, and not as alone too. I think it's a great thing. I admire anyone who shares anything and who has the guts, or who creates anything. I'm not putting any labels on it. Just if you feel able to create, and you do, I think it's a great thing. It's a gift. And I sometimes say to people, don't be so damn selfish. If you've got something in you which you feel you want to get out, or you'd like to share, do it. Don't deprive other people of this wonderful thing that is inside you, whatever it may be. So I was 2020 vision is obviously a play on words. COVID-19 to humble. This is about sort of human hubris, and kind of, could it possibly help us to realize that we're maybe not utterly apart from the rest of life on Earth? Trump to suffer shame. This is it's kind of political, except I say it's not. I say it's more about humanity. I don't hate Trump as a human being. I wish him well, but I don't appreciate his vision of things. So I feel that a lot of what this particular president stood for and did isn't in the interest of bigger humanity. Like, for example, pulling out of the Paris Accord agreement on climate change. What's that about? Without going into it. I live in Paris, so that's an example. That's one example of, hello, here we've got someone who isn't particularly evolved in terms of seeing all of life as kind of a little bit connected and interdependent, maybe. I say chauvin in a French way. Chauvin, I don't know how you say it in American. Chauvin. It means chauvinistic in French, which is really good, isn't it? There's no need for a play on words. He's provided it with us to shake our very souls. I think what happened, did have a huge effect. And then we have someone I hate. I hate labels. I hate boundaries, invented or imagined frontiers. Having said that, it's kind of part of what being human is, isn't it? So, as writers, we need them because otherwise we wouldn't have anything to write about. So I don't go down the spiritual route so far that, hey, we're all one. I love everybody. You are me and I am you. You go down that route, you've got nothing to write about. You've got nothing to be, ironic or laugh about or cynical about. What would we do? I think that's kind of part of the game that the hand we've been dealt is, here, you're going to be human for a while. This is what humans do. Go do it. You can be maybe a more advanced or a better human or a less good human or no judgment at all. Just we're all little bits of humanity doing our little human things. And in a way, that's fine. But if we didn't have anything to contrast anything with, we wouldn't have anything to say. So I'm okay. I'm okay with living a human life and for all its ups and downs. That came from, the big celebration. There's a woman in the White House. She's apparently a woman of color. Great, probably. But, can't we just say, I hope these two humans are going to be good ones as opposed to not so good ones. But anyway, that's part of the human game, Person of colour, person of another colour, person of a bit less colour, person of a bit more colour. It all gets kind of silly. And then I said, what's your takeaway? Takeaway is something you often take away from a restaurant, like fast food. Want fake lies with that? Often they say. Want fries with that? I said, want fake lies with that? Which someone often talked about, I think, fake something and lies something. Don, which reminds me of McDonald's, got you truly covered. So I'm playing with fake, playing with truly. It did occur to me that fake lies could actually be the truth. But I decided to go down that route and wanted to contrast it with truly. And he calls everything fake. So he's coming out with some fake lies at the moment, I think, about, it's crying. What's he crying? I mean, maybe he's just crying. I put that in, and apparently he's either just crying or he's crying fraud. As long as he's losing, it's fraud. So there are some examples of me trying to play with words. In Greek, we say, among the blind, the one-eyed man rules. Comment on Biden and Kamala. Yeah. What do we say in English? In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Okay, so I'm going to finish this show, which has been going. I've been talking quite a lot. Thank you for sticking with me. Have you got anything to share? If you have, I will do it now. Give me your things to share, and I'll quickly have a look at them. My idea for becoming more productive is to create a new series of memes. So I've got my general memes. I've got my... What did I want to show you? I've got my... what am I doing? New tab? Would that be it? I'm doing something, so she can't see what I'm doing. I've got my apparently memes, okay, which is I started with a word. This is a gimmick. I started with a word, and every single one of these memes has to follow on from that word. This is fun. It's cool. I enjoy it. Why don't you do something like that? I've got my general memes on anything. I've got a series. I'm going to share another screen. I've got another series. These are ideas for you. See if any of these resonate with you. There's a word I've got a love-hate relationship with, resonate. I'm going to just show you this collection again, because I'm going to show you my other series of current memes, which is called Crazy Creative. And these ones, I've decided it's going to be about creativity. We've got it a bit bigger. Right, so all of these memes are about creativity. Okay, that's my thing. So I wanted to do a series of memes which is about my thing. What's your thing? Why don't you do a series of memes on your thing? This is if you want to either get a bunch of writing together which you're pleased with, get a creative stimulus in your head every day, or if you're a professional or you want to use this professionally, get some creative original memes out there. They build up. It's amazing. You do one a day or one every 2 days. In very short space of time, you've got 100 memes. That's cool. You can use it you can give it to people as shows that you're active, you're thinking, you're inspiring. So my current idea, my latest idea is to, wait for it, do another series of memes. Specifically on coaching tips. You get these things like, what's that guy? Tom Dooley? I don't know. Mike Dooley. He sends out these things, these notes from the universe, if you know those. And they're kind of cute. They're kind of a bit woo-woo sometimes. Feel good. He uses your own name. He took your name and then he uses them. It's like the universe talking to you. So your name is in there and it's the universe encouraging you. I mean, they're incredibly popular. Who can argue with that? Many people love him. He's a best-selling author. Great. Well, why don't we do it? It doesn't matter if 2 people look at ours and 2 million look at his. It doesn't matter. Get some stuff out there. And then as I was saying earlier, you get stuff out there and you think, hey, I'm someone who gets stuff out there. I'm someone who does this every day. And it feels good. And you are, and that becomes part of your identity, and it becomes as natural as brushing your teeth. Halfway through the day you say, oh my god, I haven't done my daily yet. I haven't inspired my people yet. I haven't added to my future collection of wisdom from me yet. It's a great thing, honestly, and it's a way of getting that instant satisfaction and gratification that I personally need. I need to get new stuff out there every day. That's just me. I couldn't write a book. I say that. Who knows? But if I'm going to write a book, I'm going to write a book with daily chunks, not a novel. I couldn't do a novel. It would kill me. Okay, so Desmond says this. Fill in my heart. Okay, I'm going to try and find it. Have you got any poems, anybody? And you got one want to share a poem? I'm doing something here and I can't remember what. Could be that. No, I don't want to share that. I want to share this, I think. Yeah, we haven't had a poem or anything yet. It's just been me rambling, but it's kind of fun, isn't it? Fill in my heart. Fill in and .org. Fillinmyheart.org. What a beautiful name. And Karen, if you can remind me where yours is. So this is Despina taking us through the 4 agreements. And this is great, Despina. Well done for doing this. It's so good, So you're getting something out of it. You are getting the core, the kernel of the message of each of the 4 agreements and putting it in your own words with reference to the original. You're doing it in a very concise way, and it's great. It's really good. I think it's pretty cool that in the 3rd article, you have summarized the first 2. and you also give personal experiences, personal examples, which I think is good, because very often there are so many. Okay, thanks, Karen. Posted to this page. This page, is it the writing page? Okay. You know what? About the voice, about your writer's voice. I do my masterclasses. In the writing masterclass, I talk about the writer's voice. In my photography masterclass, I talk about the photographer's eye. It's exactly the same thing. How do you be you? And the answer is the same. One answer is the same. Be you as often as possible. In other words, get your stuff out there without writing for anyone except you or the universe. And then the you will find you. Your writer's voice will find you. Your photographer's eye will find you. But it won't find you if you don't write or photograph. How can it? There's nothing to find. It's like taking the steps in that meme. Be accompanyable, and you will be accompanied. Take the first step, and you will attract people with your movement. So the first agreement was, I thought you, these are the, hang on, where's the new one? The third agreement, that's it, which summarizes the other two. Fill in my heart. Oh, I was going to say something else about your voice. Yes, I read so many articles on sort of self-helpy stuff. They're all the same. There's no personality or very little. It's like regurgitating the same stuff in putting the paragraphs in a different order or something. What's the point? You know, there's a person who is right for you to learn from and to inspire you in every age. For every person, there is someone who is right for them. And for most people, it's not the wise voices from the past. It's their slightly weird uncle or their daughter or a friend. It's someone who is right for you. They're in your universe. Someone who has been where you've been maybe and gone a bit further, had the same questions about life or problems maybe. This is who's right for you. That's why it's so important for you to write, and to write in your voice, to write with your words, your anecdotes, your experience, your personality. If your personality doesn't come through, I might as well be reading the same stuff from the past. I might as well read this book if Despina isn't giving me a bit of her. Here, for example, she says, okay, she puts the guts of it. In Greek we say, and then she says, now this made it for me, you see, this made it. She's saying the first is be impeccable with your word. Speak with integrity, say only what you mean. I'll make it bigger, sorry. Big enough for you? Okay, be impeccable with your word, speak with integrity, say only what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak, the word, it's like the word of God. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. This could have come straight from the book. I don't need to read Despina's article to get this. I mean, I could. If it's shorter, that might be useful. But it's still just the stuff from the book I'm feeling. So up until there, great. It's a good summary. And it could be by anyone. I have no personal invested interest in this at all. And to be honest, no emotion has been stirred. And that's what I want. I want to be emotionally stirred. And then she says, in Greek, we say, dip your tongue in your brain before you speak. I will paraphrase it and say, dip your tongue in your heart before you speak. As someone said in some other post I was reading today, bam! Except this person said, I put a whole load of effort into something I was doing. Oh yeah, I think it was trying to get people on a masterclass. I did all this, I did this, and bam, nothing happened. Which I thought was fantastic, you know. And then bam, nothing happened. Can nothing happen with a bam? Question to ponder. Okay, in this case, bam. Ah, good, good. Greek, thank you, thank you. You're Greek, you say, in Greek we say personalized. Oh, it's personalized, thank God. Dip your tongue in your brain before you speak. That's fantastic because we don't say that in English and it's so cool. It's so cool. I don't know what we say in English. Dip your tongue in your brain before you speak. That's so fun. It's such a fun expression. And you personalize it further because even the Greek expression isn't quite right for you. So you make it more yours. That's a little bit too cerebral, you know, in your brain. That's not right for Despina. What's right for Despina is dip your tongue in your heart before you speak. Now I'm starting to see the Despina that I know and appreciate and love. And that is what I'm looking for in articles. I don't know everybody who writes the articles I read, but I still want to feel like I'm getting to know them somehow. That's why in my articles I try to let you get to know a bit about me, my character, my personality, and my foibles, my weirdness, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'll just gratuitously remind you that my latest website is called lazypig.com, and it's where I do my articles. And if you look at them, for a start, it's called lazypig.com, which is really cool. Or some people may say really stupid, which is good because you don't want people thinking that it's sort of, oh, it's okay. This is the worst for a writer. So it's okay. I'd read it before, but you know, I knew that already, but this is the worst. This is the worst possible reaction. If someone hates what you've written, that is great. If they love it, that's good. The worst is indifference. The worst for an artist is indifference. So if people don't like the name of it, that's fantastic, because that means that some people will. And I know it's not that weird, because these days, you know, you've got I don't know, ice cream companies called Green Giraffe, or you know what I mean? It doesn't have to mean anything. It just has to be different. And I put these little cartoons in, which they're not mine, but that's my thing. You know, I've just decided I love them. I pay the guy for them. And, you know, whether they're cliched or not, maybe you've seen them elsewhere. You can't do everything originally, and I love them, and they give that fun feel. So that's it. So that's my attempt to be original. What's yours? Sorry, I'm running all over the place here. Let me get to the third agreement. So I hope you get the point, Desmina, of what I'm saying here. Nice introduction so that we know the guts of it, and then the personalized bit. Don't take anything personally. Well, I want to take everything personally. At least I want to get personal stuff, personal feelings from other people. The third agreement is don't make assumptions. And this was funny because sorry, I'm getting Karan saying, I love it when they disagree with what I write. It proves they read it. Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, if people disagree, they've been interested, you know, interested in terms of stimulated. And if they don't like it, that's good because you're writing powerful stuff. Okay, I'll try and find other rambles. And so just to finish with this, I won't read it all, but you know where it is, folks, fillinmyheart.org. And what was funny about this, you see, I'm not going to read this. I'm going to give you a personal anecdote. Was that Despina, when she posted this, she named me. You named me, named and shamed me. No, and said, I'm naming Sab here because I'm assuming he would like to read it, which is exactly the sort of thing that I love. Okay. Right, so read that. I think I've read it. I'm not sure if I have read it. I have read it. And there's a nice little story there, and it's a personal story, which just backs up what I've been saying. Right, let's have a look at, what is it? To finish with, Karen, other rambles. blogspot.com. I mean, hopefully that'll get me there. November 8th. Is this it? This is the summary thing? Summary November, enjoying summary November. Yes, there it is. So I haven't actually read it. So saw someone walking. Is this big? No. So Karen, you've been rambling. I saw someone walking out of a store yesterday carrying a Christmas wreath. I thought, what? No way. And then had to remind myself that it's actually November. You know, as soon as Halloween is done with, bam, Christmas is upon us. Yeah. Don't forget Black Friday, which has invaded France. Oh, God. But that's another story. It's like we're sort of, it's like Tarzan. The image that just came to me is Tarzan swinging through the trees from vine to vine. You know, he goes like this, vroom, and just as he's at the edge of the end of the fulcrum or whatever it is from one, he grabs another, and oh, vroom. So you're going vroom, vroom, and it's like that with these damn commercialized things. You know, you swing from October, the Halloween crazy stuff, and then you go like that, and just as you're letting go of the Friday, the 31st of October thing, you let go of it, and oh, thankfully for the commercial people, here's the vine for Black Friday. Boom, you swing through it, like you got all the bloody advertising rammed down your throat. And let's not forget, what the hell do they call it? Something Monday, White Monday. I mean, you know, you've got to admire them. You've got to admire them, you know. Miss Black Friday? Fear not. Here comes Good Monday or whatever it's called. It's absolutely amazing. And as a writer, I encourage you to pay attention to this. Always to be looking further than what's obvious. Always. Because that's where your fodder, it's your raw fodder for your next article. It's the irony. It's what people accept. It's how we're being manipulated. It's funny. It's often funny. And that's what it's about, you know. Just keep your eyes open. Life is there. You don't need inspiration. You've got life. You don't need to find it anywhere. It's there. It's in your face. Just go out there, read other people's stuff, watch humans being human. You will never, ever be looking for subject matter again. I guarantee it. It's actually November. Halloween is over and people are starting to decorate for Christmas. People don't decorate for Black Friday yet, do they? That's mind-blowing. Seems like it's summer. Yeah, I think you're in Canada, Karen, and I was talking to someone else from Canada. He's saying it's crazy. He's in Alberta. He's saying it's crazy. We're over an hour. Sorry, folks. He's saying it's crazy. Like 1 week you're in a t-shirt. The next week there's a blizzard and I don't know, 6 inches of snow. Amazing. The only difference is the leaves are gone. Beautiful picture. Well, it looks like they're kind of on the ground. We couldn't pass up the chance to go for a walk on a local trail. 20C. Oh, you're in C in Canada. This one is close to home, but I've not explored much of it over the 46 years I've lived here. We didn't really go too far this time either, but we enjoyed the walk and we'll definitely go again. That almost looks like, is it rock? Bare rock there? On the hill above our village is an old country road called the Scotch Line. Interesting. That runs through the northern portion of the Limerick forest. Scotch sounds Scottish and Limerick sounds Irish. It's not fit for automobiles, but very popular with recreational vehicles and people walking their dogs. Naturally paved in lines, that's beautiful. I was going to say that can be really slippy when it's wet. Went up a side road to the old schoolhouse, naturally paved but leads to a swamp. No idea where the old school was. Okay. Recreational vehicles out in force. Okay. Old cedar rail fences line the... Oh, that's a great photo opportunity there, isn't it? That's great. There's nothing too exciting at the end of our road, but there are apparently some boardwalks into the swamp further along. Oh, that sounds slightly dubious. Boardwalks into the swamp. Does that sound like a good idea? I love to explore trails at this time of year. And this time of year is perfect because there are no bugs. Summer weather in November is okay with me. Yeah, thanks global warming. Thanks, Don. Just don't mention Christmas. That's great, Karen. So Karen, it's got a lovely personal feel to it, and I'm just looking on the right there, which I think you can see here. That's all is that your tags, or that's the number of articles you've written? It's your tags. Wow, you tag. Oh, look at all of those, yeah. So, that's a really nice, gentle, personalised, friendly blog. Sometimes maybe not much going on, and that's fine. So thanks for sharing that, Karen. Right, we're kind of at the end here. I don't know if I had anything. I probably had other stuff to tell you about, but I can't really think what it was. So I'm inspired. I'm interested if you've got a. Do you think what should we do to get people writing on a weekly basis? I know Vespina does it, other people do it. I don't want to sort of step on anyone else's toes, but I'd love to have something getting people to write on a regular basis. I wonder what that could be. Maybe the meme challenge. I don't know. I'm not really sure. So I'm just going to leave it there and just see. I've got my writing. I could finish off with a couple of these. These are my 3 latest, which I could share with you. So those are the 3 latest there, and I'm just wondering if one of these or 2 of these is worth reading. Of course, they're all worth reading. I love it. Thanks for all the comments, Sabia. Welcome. I'm just going to go. I'm just going to maybe read a couple of this week's creations. So this was last week, and you can see the photographs there. And I'll tell you what. I'll read this one about peeing. That's finish on with a bit of class, shall we? Amongst a veritable flood of fatuous factoids, you didn't even know you didn't need to know. The peeving Paris peeing situation has improved quite dramatically. I got scared there. When I read my stuff sometimes, which I have pored over and spent hours out on, or even minutes sometimes, I suddenly look at it once it's published and I get my heart jumps and I think, oh shit, there's a spelling mistake or something, or I don't understand what the hell I was trying to say. Anyway, amongst a veritable flood of fatuous factoids you didn't even know you didn't need to know, the peeving Paris peeing situation has improved quite dramatically. Since I arrived nearly 3 decades ago, the erstwhile admittedly city of shitty has got its crap together. The poop was mainly down to pressed pooches and their reproachable owners, but the smelly yellow stains were a definite joint endeavour. Got me some evocative pics though. I even wrote one of my favourite all-time poems, which is called Stains, with a very evocative stain, even though it was rather a saucy love fantasy in a cafe. But anyway, it was called Stains, coffee stains. Ross, I don't know how to pronounce this, Rorschach ramblings aside, this rather artisanal, no relief here sign hovers strangely above a fireman's sunken stone cabin on the banks of the River Seine, next to their barge-based floating HQ, jealously guarding their fire-extinguishing privileges, I presume. I thought it was funny because the P, the guy hasn't got a peer, a thing which pees. The black outline hasn't got one. So they obviously needed to show you that it was about peeing, or lack of it. So there's a really scrappy hand-drawn yellow pea arrow. It looks like it's been done by a kid. Anyway, it is what it is. So that was quite funny. And a big heavy one there on top of this photograph is a big heavy thing about America and the elections and stuff, if you're interested. and I'll just go to the last day, my last three, read one of them and have done with it. So which one shall I read? If anyone is still there, just tell me which one shall I read at random. You can read the others. Shall I read about the fighting guys? Shall I read about this strange Paris curiosity? Or shall I read about getting your ducks in a row? It's up to you. The first person who tells me. Dorothy says, I don't have anything interesting to write. What, in your life, right now? Well, you know, Dorothy, it's not really you who writes. It's what comes through you. So don't look at it that way. I don't like to tell people to not do things or don't do this. That sounds pretty bad. But don't look at it that way at all. Forget I. Get rid of I. You see, I don't have anything interesting to write. That has no importance because it's not you who writes. How does that sound? You don't write anything. Writing comes through you. I'm not woo-woo spiritual guy. But I can't say that what I write originates with me. It doesn't sound right because I don't know where the ideas come from. I don't know where the words come from. As I was saying to Despina earlier even, where did later come from? Maybe I'm thinking about what I'm going to do later. I have no idea where the words come from. They come from somewhere else. So I am irrelevant. So I'm sorry, Despina, but I completely consider your comment actually to be coming at things from the wrong angle. How about that? Despina says, Sab, it seems that toilets and peeing inspire you a lot. Shitty situations. You know, I mean, toilets and pee and stuff in Paris, they're probably about 1%, if not much less, of my Paris output. So don't worry too much. To grab you by the throat from the stench. The ducks, says Destin. Okay, I'll talk about the ducks. And if I catch myself telling a story 3 times to people around me, I always sit down and tell everyone by writing about it. Perfect. Of course you should. Of course you should. And you know, you're building a legacy. You're building something that can be shared once we're gone. I'm very aware of my mortality. And I love the fact that every day I'm bringing a photograph into existence and a text. For what it's worth. It's worth what it's worth. And you can stop there. It's worth what it's worth. Stop. Talk about something else. It doesn't matter what it's worth. If it's worth doing to you, it's worth doing. Period. Full stop. The end. So I'm going to read the one that this inspired. Look at it. Isn't that cool? Walking down by the banks of the River Seine, I came across a barge which was doubly cool. Well, triply cool. Quadruply cool. For one thing, it's got these really nice autumn leaves on the sort of, what do you call that? The bit along the edge. Secondly, it's a barge in Paris. So that's cool. Thirdly, it's got a ton of really, really wonderful little ducks in a row. And fourthly, it's got a poetic thingy written on it. And that's what I'm going to finish on, folks. My writing about that. And I wrote this morning. You know what? When you write every day, it's an adventure. It's an absolute it's pure joy. It's pure creativity. I have no idea what I'm going to write every morning. It's an adventure. I really encourage you to do it. To have some creative practice which you can consider a pure adventure. This was a gift to me, which came through me and didn't exist a few hours ago. How cool is that? Getting your ducks in a row is one of those expressions that vaguely irritates me without really knowing why. Getting things shipshape, and why not Bristol fashion, a little less so. This Seine barge, more explicitly and poetically, invites us to think that the stars are the dew of the sky, to be continued. That's what the text says along the top of the thing there. Maybe the former brings back childhood chores with my mother breathing down my neck as I take an eternity to tidy my room. More recently, internet marketers seem to like the ducks in a row term, which is all the more reason to hate it. I'm not a fan of internet marketers, not the hard-headed ones. It's all it seems that they do is internet market on the internet. That kind of bugs me. So, anyway, I digress. More recently, internet marketers seem to like the ducks in a row term, which is all the more reason to hate it. Sorry, quackers. And Mum, I said maybe. Memories meander like leaves on windswept deck these days. A little night sky gazing suggests that even God doesn't give a cluck about getting anything aligned, which keeps astrologers and other quacks in business, I guess. That's what came out today. It's been really fun having you here. I appreciate you being here. Otherwise, I would have been on my own. And it's much, much more fun when I'm not on my own. Same time, same place next week. And what about if you produce some cool writing this week? How about that? Does that sound good to you? Put it in the group, the Creative Smartphone Photography, the Creative Blog and Article Writing group. Put it on your pages, of course. Maybe I'll think of a theme this week or a fun thing. Maybe do some memes. And that's pretty much it. Thanks so much for being here. Good night, Sabulous. Good night, Despinus. keep despinisming, and I'll keep sabisming, doing my sabulous stuff. Keep doing your keep Karanisming. Anyone else who is still watching, any of you guys, thanks for being here. Go out there, or even just sit down and let some words flow through you. There's plenty of words, plenty of words out there. Look at any dictionary. There's a ton of them. We're not in. There's not a dearth of good words out there. There's probably a dearth of people like us that they enjoy coming through and combining in interesting new ways. So let's be those people who do that. And I'll talk to you again very soon. My next thing is tomorrow. I will be a live Zoom for a few minutes where you can just come in and say a cool thing you did this week. And in the Today's the Day group, it's me chatting about your wonderful daily achievements to make sure that you realize that every single day of your life is worth living to the full. And that's it. Bye for now. Take care. Love you all. Or more originally, thanks for being part of my creative universe and for letting me be part of yours. Bye for now.